I, I,
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing this evening? Afternoon. I don't care it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
FILA Sports Podcast halftime report hooked up by the Dawn. Coach Mario, and we got the lieutenant on with us today. What's going on, fellas?
How's it going? How's it going?
What's good?
What's up, Don?
Um, not a doggone thing, man. I'm just to the point right now, man. Like, it's week 4, and I said that by week 4, if things don't get better, it's time to call. You can hit the panic button. I'm like, I'm trying to. My reflexes is keeping me from hitting it, but I'm just like, come on now. Like, how the way we playing right now, yeah. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. All right, we got Lieutenant Dan on with us today. What's good, Lieutenant Dan?
How's it going, guys? Good to see all of you guys, or hear from you anyway. Trying to fix my camera, sorry, but yeah, yeah, it's going. I mean, I'll get into it once I fix the camera, but yeah, it's going.
All right, as you fix the camera, Coach, go ahead and go in the chat real quick.
All right, what's going on, King Kill? This game is a mess. He says the run defense looks great. Can't say that about the secondary. Calibra Daniels just signed. What's up, Jonathan? Jonathan Foskey joining. First Take Critic said Quinn got to go. They come out every week looking flat and uninspired. Can't disagree with you. What's going on there, Georgia boy? I'm about to retire my NFL fan card. You can't retire as a fan because they're not doing good. Got to still support. And Calibra Daniel said, it's definitely time to panic. No need to keep wasting your energy. I mean, you know, it's I always say in the NFL, your fourth loss. After your fourth loss, that's when you start looking around over your shoulder. You're hoping that fourth loss
or November
or never. You know, when you start getting close to that fourth loss in September, yeah, you got issues. Yeah, you got issues. Major.
Yeah.
What y'all think?
I agree. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to fix Dan's stuff real quick.
I-20 Eric joined. He said, I see Dan is in orange. Brave move.
I mean, whatever.
Trey and Ruben joined us too. Trey said his team is playing uninspired, and Ruben said, "What's up, fellas? Yeah, LT."
Yeah. All right. So, Dan, what's your thoughts of this first half, man?
I mean, what do you want me to say? Like,
that's how I feel right now, man.
Like, okay,
I'm like, hey,
can I go on a little rant? Because I mean, I don't think this game is really going to change. So maybe we can be on here for a little while. I mean, like, even if the Falcons do come back and somehow win this game, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, okay, you can't take away what we already saw, you know. So instead of me like kind of just going off and talking all this negative, I'm just gonna be straight and honest with you guys. Whether you hate certain players on this team, or you see bad contracts, or the offense coordinator or the defensive coordinator ain't doing what you're asking to do, I'm just gonna put this in the chat for you guys to understand. And I want you guys in the chat and those who are watching right now to answer this question. Are you okay with hitting the reset button?
By reset, do you mean on the coach?
Everything.
And I'll clarify.
I'll clarify. Rebuild, man.
Okay.
Because I know that's a little shock and awe when I say hit the reset button.
Okay.
But imagine you're Arthur Blank right now. Don't be the Don. Don't be the coach. Don't be Lieutenant Dan. Don't be yourselves right now. Imagine being a businessman. Okay? Just imagine being a businessman right now. You own a business.
Yeah.
Your employees aren't living up to standard, but they're the only shot you got to be able to get where you need to go. Okay? If you fire all your employees that aren't doing their job right now, And I'm telling you right now, you fire everybody. You're talking about management, which is like the head coach, your ops coordinator, defensive coordinator, your general managers who are running the everyday store operations, your all your little employees, might be your cooks and your waiters and whatever, If you fire all of them, you're admitting that the product you're putting out is no good. It's no good. It's not good enough. It doesn't live up to the standard that you're asking for, which means that you admit right at this very moment that a hard reset needs to happen, because the steps that are taken once you hit that reset button when you fire Dan Quinn. Remember, be a businessman. Do not be yourselves. Whatever you're thinking in your heads, put it out and step back and be like, I'm Arthur Blank right now. Okay? Role play with me for a second. You fire Dan Quinn. New head coach comes in. All his guys need to come in. His defensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator, his special teams guys. There will be nobody on this staff, maybe outside of Thomas Dimitroff, and even his ass isn't safe, that will be here when the new head coach comes in, because he's going to want his guys, right? We get that. We all get that. We all understand that from a business standpoint. So the next point that we have to understand is the moment that his guys get in here, that means not a single player from Matt Ryan down is safe, even if they have these massive contracts. Because remember, the head coach wanted his players, his quarterback, his wide receivers, his style of play, whoever it is that comes in, defensively or offensively. That is facts. So by bringing in a new head coach or bringing in a new general manager, you are hitting a hard reset. There is no saving it. There is no going, well, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, all the players that have been here, they're the leaders. They'll make it work. No, that's not how that works. When you start taking cogs and pieces out, gone. That all goes right out the door. So if you fire Dan Quinn, are you ready to admit a hard reset needs to happen?
All right, hold on. Coach?
I think with the business side of sports as well anyway, and I think about it like this. We all know that home ticket prices fell this game. So as the businessman, if I'm losing money because I can't sell as much for tickets now, or I'll make that change. On the business side, I will make that change, because it looks like possibly the business is not as strong as it once was. And if it's going downhill, if I think, making that change will curb it and make it go back uphill, I would.
So, okay, you said that. Now that you do realize that now that you have admitted that this whole thing, that is all over, does that mean that Matt Ryan needs to be here with a hard reset to relearn a brand new offense, have a brand new defense, go through its struggles, have brand new drafts to retool this whole thing to the image that this new head coach is going to bring in?
Now, let me say this.
Does that waste their time?
Hold on. Let me say this. I love Matt Ryan to death. It's like having a child, all right? Having a child, and you seeing this kid struggle in school, getting in trouble, you just gonna have to, as a parent, sometimes you just gonna have to make a tough decision. Just let your kid just say, hey, I'm gonna have to send you to the authorities or send you to boot camp or something like that, But I'm just to the point now that if we hit that hard reset button, we just gonna have to trade Matt Ryan and to a team that we know he can win with, because this man is 35 years old, 36 years old, and I don't want to see this man keep going through this process of bringing in a new coach, bringing in the OC. It's too much. Like, if we're gonna hit hard resets,
you said it right there.
But
you don't want to see that happen. So if you bring in all this new stuff, that means that you close the window, you close the door. You the fans are okay with closing the door. Because it doesn't stay open with a new head coach. That takes a year or two of learning a new offense, a year or two of establishing a new defensive identity, a year or two of making special teams ready. So that's already 2 years. Let's play business. Let's not fool with ourselves. Let's play business.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you 2 years to get this back to where it needs to be.
But
at the minimum.
Okay, I agree.
At the minimum.
I agree. It took Dan Quinn 2 years to get to the Super Bowl. But if the current regime isn't working, so would you just continue to be mediocre for 10 years? Would you be okay with that?
No. I'm not defending Dan Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, Atlanta fans, are you going to admit that you were okay with closing the Super Bowl window or playoff window?
Yes.
But here's
bringing in a new head coach,
because we didn't go to the playoffs.
But here's the thing.
We didn't go to the playoffs last year.
All right, but hold on. But here's the thing. Yes, windows closed, doors closed, but they can also open. Look at the Eagles. Like back in the 2000s, they had Donovan McNabb. Then they brought in.
You're banking on a lot.
Huh?
You're banking on a lot.
Yeah, you're banking on a lot.
New head coach or offensive coordinator to come in and just start running the gauntlet, running the trains. That's not how that works. Doesn't matter who comes in here. That's not how that works. So Atlanta fans, understand this. This is what I'm trying to get to. This is the point I'm trying to get across. If you admit, and Arthur Blank admits, because he's the one, I won a Super Bowl in this year or in the next few years, because he's getting older. If you admit it, you the fans admit it, and Arthur Blank admits it, that means this version of the Falcons, gone. And that means that you admit that you're okay for the next 3 years to be mediocre, potentially, and have to watch a rebuilding process, which already the city of Atlanta doesn't want to do because they want everything now. They want everything right now. So let's live in the reality. You fire Dan Quinn, whether it be at the end of this year, at the end of this game, and you now start a process of having to go through the whole rebuild. It's not a little rebuild. It's not like, oh, we have some pieces to get. No. Matt Ryan is at the tail end of his career. Okay? Julio Jones is at the tail end of his career. They're going to stick together until the end of their last contract here, and then they're going to be gone. So you admit right now, say it in the mirror. If we fire Dan Quinn, it's all gone. It's all gone. Not to be like, we have to keep Dan Quinn and keep this alive.
And I guess because I feel you're saying it's all gone. Like, what is here now? So it's like, what are we losing?
a semblance of identity that we knew was going to be struggling because they're going to have to learn. It's not Kyle Shanahan stuff. It's not Sarkisian stuff. It's not anything that we've had in the past. This is not Dirk Cutter from 2012 because the guy can't even run the ball effectively. He needs someone else to help him run the ball.
Yeah.
Okay? So he's a one-dimensional coordinator who only knows how to pass. And from what I'm telling you right now, I see it against the Titans. I saw it against the Indianapolis Colts too. That ain't very creative passing structure, okay? Those route trees aren't very creative.
I didn't. I was super critical of Dirk Cutter before when he was here and in Tampa Bay because everything to me, Dirk Cutter, everything is coming back to the quarterback. Everything is coming back out and coming back to the quarterback. You know, I know Matt isn't the greatest deep ball thrower, but even when he had
crazy.
that, like,
which is crazy, he's been hitting deep balls over these last couple of weeks. So that's a fallacy.
And
the problem here is that we have a mediocre coaching staff that doesn't know how to put its players in the right places. I talked about this. I'm sorry, I'm eating up your time. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm on a little bit of a rant. But it's like your coordinators don't know and your coaching staff don't know how to put guys in the right places.
In the right positions, yeah.
To succeed.
When I say Matt isn't the greatest deep ball thrower, we know that on the fly route, Matt isn't the best at hitting the guy where he in stride over the back, over that outside shoulder where he can keep running. That's not Matt's best throw. You know, that's not Matt's best throw. He can get it down there and let guys complete it though. He knows how to throw it down there and let Julio go up and get it. So a completion is completion.
Justin Hardy and Calvin Ridley on deep throws against, what was that, the Colts? and then hit a deep bomb against Calvin Ridley only 5 plays later. So it's not Matt. It's not Julio. It's not Grady or Dion. I mean, you can talk about the key pieces on the staff. It's not them. It's the system we're running right now isn't consistent. We're not consistently in a 34. We're switching between two things that we don't have depth for. I said it today. Can I just? I'm going to say something controversial. Do you mind if I say something a little controversial on the show, or should I just? Keep
we love controversy.
Okay, all right. Hold on. Let me just pull this up.
Controversy.
I promise it will only take a second. Let me get it back here. Okay. All right, here we go. Here it is. This is my own words. These are my own words. Even I was responding to somebody that said because they don't want to show up because it was 20 minutes before the game was starting and nobody was in their seats. Mm-hmm. And I said, even if they did, they wouldn't show up. They want to live the Pats life without the work to get to that level. This is what the South is. The doers and the do-nothings. And this bleeds into this culture because I've been watching this Netflix series. I love this Netflix series, the history of hip-hop. Okay? Rap and hip-hop was a thing before it came to the South. And nobody in the South liked the hip-hop coming out of L.A. Nobody liked what was coming out of Oakland. Nobody liked what was coming out of New England area, the New York area. Nobody cared about that hip-hop. It wasn't them. And it was only until guys like Outkast, guys like the hardcore hip hop guys down here, they were talking about cocaine, started to come out and talk about that stuff, that they started to say, this is our rap,
I have to disagree with you, Dan.
An Atlanta style of football, then this is never going to be accepted. None of this is ever going to work, ever. This is a psychology problem. This is psychiatric. This has nothing to do with the way that we build things like other people. We have to build things like us, and we just seem to not have that. The people of Atlanta, if they were a playbook, they would be a spread attack with a heavy defense, a running quarterback with a heavy power running back, and they would have a cocky wide receivers with good old country boys as offensive linemen. And their defense would be a group of hip-hop, rapper, long dreads, hit first, tackle later type of guys. And their head coach would be a 50-something-year-old black guy with 340 pounds overweight, with a sweat towel, saying that if you don't play dirty South football, then you're not part of this team.
Or it could be Jared Gladville,
Mike Tomlin type guy who's 300 plus pounds and a sweat towel on the sideline, saying this is how we play football. This is how I did it in Pee Wee.
Or it could be Jared Gladville. It can be either him or Jared Gladville.
So unless you're willing to hit the hard reset button and catch up to where the NFL has started playing offense and defense and play it in Atlanta style of way, just go ahead and just scratch any chances of success, because the fan base as a whole worldwide won't accept it, because the fan base in Atlanta, the people that live there, won't accept it. They won't. Happen to hip hop, happened to politics, happened with Martin Luther King, happened with the city as a whole and their structure and building the city, happened to their philosophy back in the Civil War, happened on day-to-day political and cultural live aspects. And until you become your own identity, like the Braves right now, with their own identity. That's their identity. That's the Braves. That's a Southern identity. That's exactly what they're going to do. Good old boys and guys that are cocky as shit, hitting home runs and making big-time plays. That's what the Falcons have to be. That's what they have to be for the culture of Atlanta to accept it and for the Falcons to have success going forward. They must be at the league trend, not the ones following it, and they have to have an Atlantan identity. And I'm just telling you right now, you ain't going to get that unless you go get somebody like Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma.
Oh.
And that right there scares the dickens out of me because Matt Ryan's not going to be able to play that playbook. Matt Ryan is a play action, heavy run, heavy dose of over-the-middle type quarterback. He loves to hit that dink and dunk stuff. He can sling the ball like any other quarterback out there. He can hit deep routes like anybody out there. But if you don't play his style of ball, he looks like an average Joe.
I do agree with that part.
Average goddamn Joe. And the defense, we've been hiring. This is great discussion point from Mad Mike and Real Patman. They said this defense has been the same since Dan Reeves. It's always a defensive guy getting hired as a head coach and bringing in a defense that bends and breaks. So until you find a defensive identity and stick with that identity and go through the growing pains, none of y'all Falcons fans are going to get anything. Zero. Absolutely zip. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to you're going to find, even when Vic Beasley leaves, you're going to find another Vic Beasley. And you're going to harp on him too because he's not your boy. It's not your culture. It doesn't speak to you.
And but see, I completely disagree with that because Vic is from Georgia. People didn't want Mike. We talking about Vic Beasley. I don't think people wanted Vic Beasley to be bad. I said it myself. I want Vic Beasley to be good. But people during
the draft process didn't want Vic Beasley.
I didn't want Vic Beasley because I exactly what we're doing with him is what I thought. I thought he was too small to put his hand in his dirt. So it wasn't that I didn't think he wasn't good.
Atlanta,
what we
like
were
I just
going to
said,
do with.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Atlanta has an identity. They want a 43 defense with big ass ends. They want
I don't care
grindy
what
football from the
play.
70s.
See, I disagree with that.
A spread offense with a running quarterback because that's the identity that the Falcons fans, maybe not everybody, fans in Atlanta, that's what they want. That's what they identified. That's what they feel like having, and that's going to make them show up to games.
On the offensive side, I will agree with that.
Let's all think about Arthur Blank. Let's all think like Arthur Blank. If you're Arthur Blank and you see Pat Mahomes out there, Deshaun Watson out there, you see the type of offenses that they're running. You see 34 defense right now is king. Multiple defense with guys that know exactly the identity. Unless you're willing to sacrifice everything, this right here ain't going to work. Because the culture's not going to accept it, A, because they're always going to find a Vic Beasley. No matter if it's offense or defense, they're going to find a scapegoat. Always. Because if it doesn't work for them, they're going to find a scapegoat. Number two, if this offense isn't electric, throwing the ball, running the ball, doing that kind of stuff, it's got to be spread. It's going to have to be spread. We can't slow the game down because Atlanta fans get bored. They get bored. And that's not the league trend. The league trend right now is West Coast dink and dunk and spreading everything out and running up tempo. That is the league standard currently. So unless you cater, and this is terrible, but unless you cater to the fans and hire a flashy bag of nickels and that shit works out, then this Falcons team is doomed to continue to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over. And the fan base is just going to continue to be negative and continue to put pressure on Arthur Blank, which eventually is going to put pressure on the quarterback and head coach, which is going to get them fired. That's the story.
I agree with you. I agree with you offensively on the offensive part. The defensive part on the Vic Beasley, I wanted him to rush the passer. I didn't just think he'd be successful with his hand in his dirt. I'm upset that we didn't get creative and do some creative things with him, what I would have liked to see. We are doing more this year. We are moving him around. That's what I thought he should have done. So I didn't want to just...
a little too late now, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't want to just put his hand in the dirt. We should have been running
34 stuff like 2 years ago, right? Like 2017, we should have been like, okay, we had our success, but we see that the Patriots caught up to it in the Super Bowl. So we need to make some changes here on defense to make ourselves more relevant. Well, you can't be relevant if you're doing the same thing over again and you don't have the pieces. Again, I look back at the 2018 and 2019 drafts and I say this. If you were going to run 43 stuff, where are the defensive ends? And I don't mean just flashy sack masters like Brian, what's his name, that was from FSU that went off to Brian Burns, that went off to Carolina. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where are your Cameron Wakes? Where are your big
guys are wide
in
open
smashing?
Because that zone, man. That
guys
zone,
are wide
zone.
open. I mean,
it's his
like
zone. It's his weak zone. Like, come on.
And you don't blitz.
Oh my goodness, man.
But for some reason, when we put that 5-2 or 34 look on the field and we go man to man, we have more success. I wonder, you know, thinking, like, I wonder, maybe we should just, I mean, if we don't have the pieces to run an effective zone and effectively run a 43, then why are we even fielding it? Why are we fielding it? We have 34 personnel currently at every single position. Why are we not fielding that 34 personnel and keeping 34 defense on the field all the time? All the time.
That's a coaching.
Why?
That's coaching. That's coaching
and culture. That's a hand-in-hand thing. You are so enamored with your guys. Freeman, Julio, Matt, Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones, Trufant, Oliver. I'll go down the list of guys that Dan Quinn favors currently. And half of those dudes should be sitting on the bench, and guys like Jermaine Grace should be out there. Guys Zacchaeus should be out there. Why is Deidre Sanat and Quadri Olison inactive for this game?
Why is Justin Hardy blowing blocks every game, and he's still out there? He's blowing blocks every game.
Why do we have a fullback? If the fullbacks, why are we doing more fullbacks? Why do we have 5 running backs on the roster? Why do we have 5 running backs on the roster? Was it so that we could run Freeman, and if he didn't do well with his already ungelled offensive line, that we were going to bring in Quadri Olison and Ito Smith and Brian Hill to get it running? Like, these are those questions. Again, I go back to that 2019 and 2018 draft. Why did we draft those players knowing full well that the adjustment period was going to have to happen?
No.
And we acted like we could go on a Super Bowl run? I said it earlier. I said the highest that this team could potentially go was 11-5. I felt like that was the key number right there. From this current rendition of the Falcons that are playing on this field right now,
7-9.
I think
highest.
The lowest that this team could potentially go is probably like 6-10.
Yeah.
Okay. And 6-10 is like, what is that? That's a top 10 pick. That's a top 10 pick currently. Like, I mean, there's so much football left to be played. The second half of the year could be completely different than this first half. Maybe we're overreacting. Maybe we're pulling our guns out too soon. Maybe we're loading the chamber too quickly and trying to shoot and make some kind of crazy reaction so we can be right later if that works out.
Well.
But I'm just telling you right now, this right here, no, not even close.
Here's the thing. We playing the Titans, which is an AFC team. I know y'all don't want to hear this, but hey, like I said, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn just don't do good. I'm not using that as an excuse or a scapegoat, but it's just the truth. That's the facts. He just doesn't play well against AFC teams.
You're at home.
Yeah, you at home. It does, but the thing
play
is,
like you're at home.
Man, hey, like I said, man, it don't matter, man.
You are in your. Why is it that our home games either come down to the wire or we absolutely bite the dust at home? But when we go out of town against NFC teams, AFC teams, I get it. We struggle because we're not familiar with them. But when you go out of town against NFC teams, we seem to play harder. We seem to play like it's worth something.
On the road,
we come home. Doesn't matter who we play. We struggle. We struggle in this new stadium. We struggle like it's not our place.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
We're in somebody else's house and we have to take off our shoes and ask for something to drink. You know?
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we've been on here for 30 minutes, so we'll go ahead and close this out. Coach, go ahead and go in the chat real quick, man.
Man, it's 60 million comments from when we last commented. We're gonna be reading like for 20 minutes. Man, that's a long scroll. You want me to read all these comments?
Just read the ones that stick out, man.
Let me see. Trey said if we do reset, he would like to go defensively. And that Georgia boy was saying that I guess he would
down? Is that Mac?
I don't know. I know Jamon Brown get hurt.
That's Mac. Mac down. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Mac is down. Oh.
Yeah. Might be all right though, Don. Relax. He all right. Hopefully.
Okay, so Jamon Brown, I don't know if he's out, but you already had
who's the
Wes
backup
Schweitzer, who's
center.
Your backup center playing
exactly.
right guard. So now you move that over to
and then
center.
You don't and
so now who's your right guard?
And then Gunno's not in, Gunno's inactive, so yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Woo.
Jesus. Eric was saying if we did reset, he would have to trade Matt. My homeboy Yard Dog joined. What's up, Shay? He said the brand was diminishing. He also said our front seven is a joke. Ruben joined. What's going on, man? Ruben and Norman Fitzgerald joined. And Norman Fitzgerald said, if worst comes to worst, we finish with a top 5 pick, grab another offensive lineman, and go grab Trevor Lawrence in 21. Okay.
Look, can I just say this? The comments is like, we go after another offensive lineman, so you're going to use a top 5 to 10 pick on a left guard or a future center. And I mean, okay, we're in the rebuilding process, so I mean, 2020. You go and do that, you're like,
now defense is still bad.
Exactly. The offense is fine for the most part, just the dang defense.
I would go after a coach that is offensively driven and key in on what already works here in Atlanta, which is we've got a lot of weapons, we got a lot of valuable players. Clean a little bit of house and take some guys out of here that are not necessarily conducive to what you're doing right now, and just kind of roll with that, and then get a 34 defensive coordinator and have him come in and work with what you already have, because you have a lot of good pieces there too.
Well, personally, I don't think Arthur Blank is not signing off on any coach that doesn't fit Matt Ryan, doesn't think Matt Ryan fits his system. So anybody they interview, if they say, no, I think we need to go in a different direction, I don't think Arthur Blank is going for that. So I don't think Arthur Blank wants that guy as coach. I don't think
so
Matt
that means
is going
that now
anywhere.
Arthur Blank is not a part of the solution, because you're now what was the best years of Matt Ryan have been when he has been put in scenarios which is not conducive to him. Kyle Shanahan comes in here and says, you do what I tell you to do. Matt Ryan, in the first year, he struggled because he was like, I'm not releasing control. Shanahan made him release control, find a medium ground, and then he has an MVP season, and we go to the Super Bowl. So you're going to have to get away from your comfort zone.
You know, if you want to put it like that and say Arthur Blank would be a problem, then yeah, because I think Jerry Jones is a problem in Dallas. So I hadn't thought about Arthur Blank like that right now, but if it comes to that, yeah, I'll say yeah, because I definitely think Jerry Jones
just want to make money. You know, let's just be honest. Jerry Jones is
Jones wants to be always.
Jerry Jones wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He wants to be able to say I was right on the personnel decision.
Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, at the end of the day, he wants.
Jerry Jones always wants to be in the spotlight. Papers, he always wants to be talked about because he wants people to have his name in their mouths talking about him, because he always wants to feel important. It's not about power struggles. It's not about what players he thinks works. He just wants to be in the media all the time. That's why he even said what he said about Zeke Elliott. And then he paid the man so that he could be in the media. So the people.
And then they gave him the shirt too. The media op with the shirt. Yeah. Killed it with the media op with the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always there to look for an opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, go to read a couple more comments and get off here, man. The Falcons, they are marching down the field.
Let me make sure I ain't miss anybody who joined us. Chuck Cole joined us. What's going on, Chuck? Yeah, we're watching the game. I just want to make sure I called out everybody who at least joined us.
Oh, dang.
Philly Boy joined us. Yeah, Philly Boy, yeah, we made field goal. What's going on, Philly Boy? And Trey said, "I just want winning. I don't care about the style." Yeah, for real. You know, um, and what else we got?
Well, Max elbows.
And Calibra Daniels said, "Have you guys ever thought about the issue may have been GM? I've never been a Dimitrov fan, so
I don't know how you make the issue GM when the product on the field is a direct result staff of putting their players in particular situations and running with it.
Yeah.
Like we have all this talent which was acquired by Thomas Dimitrov and company. So I don't know how you translate GM as the issue when the GM is just acquiring the players that the coaches are asking for.
Yeah.
And the coaches are the ones that are telling the players what to do.
Now, if it was Mike Smith there, then yeah, it'd be Dimitrov. But Dan Quinn, he's pretty much been having his hand in every player we've been getting.
Well, in 2013, when Mike Smith was here, Thomas Dimitrov drafted guys that 2 years later, not one of them was still in the NFL. Not
that
one
was Mike
player
Smith's,
he drafted.
That was Mike Smith's doing.
Controlling the draft, you saying? Okay.
Yeah, Mike Smith goes out here and he gives Thomas Dimitrov. Dimitrov said it himself. He was like, "There's no more sacred cows," because all willing to do, and this actually puts to your point, Coach. Mm-hmm. Arthur Blank goes, "Whatever you want, Mike Smith." Thomas Dimitrov's like, "Nah, bro." Nah, bro. Because he's not even giving me a shopping list. He says, "Go give me eggs, milk, and bread." But what bread do you want? What milk do you want?
Yeah.
Are you lactose intolerant?
More specific,
what I'm saying?
right?
Like, you asking for cheese, but are you want Parmesan? You want cheddar? Like, what are we cooking here?
Yeah. 4th and 1, another 1 yard.
Sacked. He got sacked.
You got to get rid of the ball. That's Matt.
Oh,
I don't know if I don't know how the coverage was. That I couldn't see, but he certainly held it too long.
That right there,
Yeah.
that drive right there, that's game. That's game. We should have just been I'm not even gonna say we should have just ended up kicking it, but because Matt Bryan missed a dang kick that was 30-something yards out. So, all right, y'all. Look, that's why I'm not really sharing my thoughts right now. Like my blood pressure's like really high right now, and I'm trying my best to keep it calm.
Yeah, just sip a little something, man. Just sip
I
a
don't
little
drink
something.
though. That's what water, juice, like.
Yeah, vitamin water.
Water. Go take a walk,
Green
bro.
tea.
Probably a
Green
sunny day. Green tea. Coach is right. Green tea, bro. Zen, man. Zen.
Exactly.
Zen.
Get your mental right.
All right, y'all.
Yo, make sure y'all join us tonight, man.
Yeah, join us tonight. We're gonna talk about the Atlanta Thrashers. 8:30. Join us, and then we'll pretty much recap the rest of the game, like what shine and shade. There's a lot of shade and shine in this game, to be honest with you. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. Thank you, Dan, for coming on. We appreciate it. All right. Thanks
everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for joining.
Everybody in the chat. Thank y'all for coming on. We apologize we couldn't get it to y'all comments, but hopefully next week or whatever, or y'all can just join us tonight. Just join us tonight, and we could talk about it tonight as well. Even though we talking about the Thrashers, but we'll talk about all Atlanta sports, so it don't matter. So as always, it's your hometown sports podcast. See y'all 8:30 tonight. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all afternoon.